Hey everyone, welcome to From the Depths. I'm Minty, and this is episode 13 of the Cruiser Clash League tournament thing. I almost had it. We've got Team Blacksheep here facing off by Blacksheep, Team Blacksheep by Blacksheep, facing off against Shak's Terror by Amime. If you'd like to see more of these craft in depth, their weapons, armor, shielding, all that sort of thing, every craft in this tournament has an overview video done of it, in which the playlist of is linked in the description. But with that, we're going to get right on and see how this battle goes. The Shak's Terror does have a tendency to kite its victims to a point where just nobody can be effective anywhere, but the kite is also a fairly fast craft and may actually be able to keep it from exceeding its range. Yeah, the kite does seem to be... Oh, but the kite is getting hit by missiles from the Shak's Terror here. And the kite is not as well equipped to take on air threats, I don't believe, as it is sea threats. Like, its main form of damage is the massive amount of bomb racks in the back. The Shak's Terror is pulling away now. It's all the way out to 1,800 meters. Seems the kite is able to cut the corners a little bit better than Puddle Strider did. It is down to 91%. But with the Shak's Terror being so far away now, it won't be able to do any more damage. And this looks like it may end up being another situation where the two craft are just kind of circling each other and are unable to do anything to one another. I am likely going to speed this part of it up until something happens, just so the video isn't 20 minutes of just chasing, because that's not the most entertaining thing to watch. So, well, actually, the Shak's Terror is moving in closer to the other portions of Team Blacksheep, the mini sub and the PT boat. So I'm actually not going to speed this up just yet. I'm going to keep letting it go and let it play out, because the mini sub or honestly the PT boat is, it has been MVP by being the only survivor on Team Blacksheep before, I believe, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, I was pretty amused by that fact. It is not actually that effective a craft. I mean, it's just a little thing that fires, like, I think it's a 60mm flak shell. Lips and tongues, how do they work? But it's not going to do anything to the middle hull of the Shak's Terror. The kite is trying so hard to catch it. But hey, at least it's in range to fire its guns now, but are those guns going to hit? No. No, they are not. Well, in this case, I may actually speed this up, even though it's going to circle back around and get in range, because the mini-sub and the patrol boat didn't actually manage to do anything when the Shak's Terror got close. So, if they manage to land something, then I will slow it down at that point to show that's happening, but otherwise I'm going to speed this up until regulation runs out. Ooh, so going to stop the speed up right there, because the kite took a big hit. That EMP seemed to have knocked out at some of its control surfaces or something, but it is now down in the water, which may actually end up being a good thing for it, because the Shak's Terror is now out of range of it. But is it still... I'm going to pause, stop the timer, need to run over here and see if it's still in range of anything. Though I may not immediately penalize it, because it did have an enemy in range, it just got shot down. It is in range. It is in range of everything that it is, it is in range of the mini sub and the PT boat. So we will unpause things and restart the clock. But with the kite taking that much damage, that may be enough to secure a win for the Shak's Terror if regulation runs out. And it seems to be focusing on the kite, but it is now out of range of every opponent. But it is right on the edge of range. And it seems to be dancing back and forth. Oh, it's back in range of the kite now. It's hard to keep track of all the different entries, but it is in range of the kite. It is playing by the rules at the moment, so it will not be penalized for that. But see, I have mentioned in other videos that missile strike from the Shak's Terror, if it managed to get off, would be quite significant and really make a change in how much damage the Shak's Terror can put out. It needs to keep that damage up, though, and keep the kite from healing if it wants to pull the win out. Because at 86%, I believe the kite is about 60% of Team Blacksheep's hit points. So, at this point in time, I don't think that'll end up being a total of 10% of Team Blacksheep's hit points taken away. So it will end up still being a draw, even though the Shak's Terror has managed to do something. It needs to do some more damage to something if it wants to pull out this win. It'd be a real shame if it managed to shoot down the kite and then ends up losing. Well, not losing, but drawing anyway. But that is the price you pay when you focus so much RP into your speed and don't put enough into your firepower. But let's see. Let's go. I've been following it around because I have to keep track of where its location relative to all its opponents. But I want to come over here and look and see, because it does, if I remember right, the Terror does have heat shells, which are likely inertially fused, and those will be able to get through the shields and damage to the kite if they land. But the kite is healed all the way back up to 92%. It is definitely not within, it is not too damaged for the Shak's Terror to actually claim the victory here. As of right now, everything will be a draw. But we have a minute and 41 seconds left in regulation. Be a real shame. Oh, the kite seems to have, has it pulled itself out of the water? It has. It has taken to the air again and is fighting, which could be a bad thing, because last time it did that, it actually got itself in the range of the missile volley of the Shak's Terror, and that made it take a ton of damage and get shot down. If that happens again with this little bit of time left on the clock, it's going to end up losing. It won't be able to repair itself in time. That would be unfortunate for it. But I suppose a loss in getting 1 point is better than a draw in 0. And it is entirely possible that it could land some shots and take down the Shak's Terror, and then it will win. But at least this battle is much more interesting than the previous ones with the Shak's Terror involved. What the Shak's Terror should do is, instead of focusing so hard on the kite, if it could take down that mini-sub, the mini-sub is really easy to kill. We've seen it go up. We've seen it go up multiple times from other craft, and it's 30% of Team Blacksheep's hit points. Like, you kill the mini-sub, you've got enough hit points gone to win the battle. But with only 16 seconds left on the clock, it looks like this is going to unfortunately be another draw. Yeah, the Shak's Terror just really needs an upgrade to its turning speed. And there it is. That is the timer. So, we have Shak's Terror at 100%, Mini-Sub 100%, Kite 97%, PT Boat 100%. That's only 3% health lost. It does not matter what the percentages are in this situation. It is mathematically impossible for the Shak's Terror to be 10% above its enemies. So this is a draw. No points are earned. We will go ahead and get this reset and start up round 2. Shak's Terror. Load you in. Make sure to repause it. And since Team Blacksheep is a forward-facing spawn, I will spawn it second facing it. It just makes it easier to actually get things spawned properly to do it that way. Ooh. Perfect. I like it. Anyway, Team Blacksheep. Spawn you in. That's a little high. I don't think it'll be too... I don't think it'll be too bad. We'll leave it, and if it ends up being a major thing, then I'll restart it again and fix it, but I don't think it'll make a difference. So, here we go. Round 2, underway. Yeah, see, the mini-sub and the PT boat got down into the water quickly enough. It was a little high, but it doesn't seem to have made any difference whatsoever. The Shak's Terror isn't even targeting them. It's still targeting the kite. And the kite taking those missile hits. Oh, it seems to have lost control. It is spinning out. Trying to launch those anti-missile missiles to save itself. It is lost in a spin. And the Shak's Terror, I'm going to have to pause it. Pause it here. The Shak's Terror is quite a bit of ways. I'm going to have to fly over here. And see where it is relative to all of its opponents. And it is significantly out of range for all of them. And I'm not going to start the clock just yet, because it did have a foe in range, and but it caused battle damage and it stopped chasing it. I'm going to give it a 15-second grace period here where its clock does not start, but after that the clock will start. If it is not back in range by that time. Which, I mean, the kite does not have a lot of hit point damage, it just must have lost some critical blocks. It may be able to catch up and close that distance. Help the kite get out of range. Okay, the clock has officially started now. But it is closing in. The mini-sub is closing in. Almost there. Yeah, only used a little over 15 seconds of its DQ clock there. So everything's fine now. It's like I gave you a grace period to help you out there, since that wasn't entirely the Shak's Terror's fault, but if it was properly maneuverable, then that situation wouldn't have, that 15 seconds would have been plenty of time for most craft to get back in range. But it probably won't end up mattering. I'm not sure what the kite is doing. It's still on a spin, it looks like, even though it's at 100%. What's going on with that? That's interesting. It seems to have, like, according to the HP count thing, it's been fully healed, but it's just locked in a perpetual spin out. I have no idea what's causing that, but that is also making it rather difficult for the Shak's Terror to. I'm gonna have to pause and stop again because it looks like the Shak's Terror has once again left range. And I'm trying to be a little lenient on the out of range here, not follow it super strictly, given that the original issue, how it started. But in this case, the Shak's Terror went back in range, it left range. Like, it is entirely its fault in this case. Yes, the kite is still unable to maneuver properly. I'm not sure what happened there, but it it is not at fault. It is basically stationary at this point, and it becomes the Shak's Terror's responsibility to maintain the range. So it's got 45 seconds left on its DQ clock. We'll see how much it uses this time. If it keeps doing this, it's going to end up running out of DQ time before the regulation ends. And so there it's back in range. Stop the DQ clock. It's got 33 seconds left. The mini-sub's missile's just not fast enough to catch this. And the kite is at 100%. And is it approaching again? Yeah, it is approaching again. It must have lost some thrusters, and that block count was just too small to count as a percentage of health damage. But that will help the Shak's Terror not get disqualified, because the kite will stay close, well, closer. Because the PT boat and the mini sub just are not fast enough to keep up with this thing. The Shak's Terror is literally 7 times faster than the mini sub. I don't know about the patrol boat. I don't remember its maximum speed. But the kite and the Shak's Terror seem to be doing their thing again. We've got just over 6 minutes left on the battle clock. Kite's keeping things in range now. But yeah, now that nothing interesting is going on, I will probably speed this portion up once more, unless something interesting happens again. Okay, we're down to just 10 seconds left on the clock, and really the only interesting that happened is the PT boat managed to land a few shells, but them being little flaks did nothing. And there you have it. That is time. Every craft is at 100%. Nothing was done. The kite did go down and have that spin out early on, but the Shak's Terror was unable to capitalize on that. So this will once more be a draw, with both sides unfortunately earning 0 points. That is unfortunate, but the rules are the rules, and so that's just how it's going to go. The Shak's Terror, it's an interesting design. I like how fast it goes. I like the missile pod on the back, but it just does not have the firepower. It has spent just too much effort in making it go fast, and that is causing it to draw out in almost every single battle it's been in. So unfortunately that is not earning you any points. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.